Hi, this is Mrs. Hovey. I teach 7th and 8th grade math at Dodge Middle School, and today we're going to have a lesson on simple and compound interest. You are going to need a couple of things before we get started. You're going to need paper and pencil, your yellow pages, and a calculator. If you need time to get these, pause this and start back up when you are ready. First thing we're going to do is put some notes in our yellow pages. The first word is going to be interest. Interest is the money paid or earned for the use of money. If you put money into a savings account, the bank will pay you interest for keeping it there. Principal is the amount of money borrowed or deposited. If you borrow money, if you borrow $500, that $500 is your principal. Or if you open up a savings account with $500, it's now principal for the savings account. Simple interest is the money paid or earned only on the principal. If you have simple interest on $500, it's just figured with that $500. We use this equation to figure out interest. Capital I, stands for the simple interest. That's generally what we will be finding. Then you multiply P times R times T. The P stands for the principal. The R is the annual interest rate. We will generally get that in in percent form, and we'll have to put it into decimal form. And then the T stands for time, which is generally figured in years. If you need more time to copy these words down, pause the recording and start it back up when you are ready. We'll do our first example all together. It says you put $100 in a savings account. The account earns 6% simple interest per year. So we're going to use I equals PRT. I is our interest. That's what we need to find out. P is our principal, and we put $100 into that savings, so that is our principal. We're going to multiply that by our rate. 6% is our rate, but we need to put that in decimal form. So our decimal point is in front of the 6. We need to move it to the left 2 times, because it's a percent, it's out of 100. Fill in the blank with a 0. Our rate now, as a decimal, is 0.06, or 6/100ths. Our time is per year, so it's only 1 year, so we're going to multiply it by 1. Here's where you're going to need your calculator. You put into your calculator 100 times 6/100ths times 1. Press equals, and you will see that it equals $6. So on $100 at 6% simple interest per year, you will earn $6. Let's do another example. Typical family in the United States owes about $5,000 in credit card debt. That is going to be our principal. That's how much they have borrowed, basically. This typical credit card interest rate is 18 to 20% per year. We're going to figure out an annual percentage rate of 18. So that's going to be our rate. Time, again, we're figuring it annually, so we'll use 1. So we'll move this up out of the way a little bit. Our interest is what we're finding. Our principal is 5,000 times our rate, which is 18%. We'll move our decimal point to the left 2 times, so it's 0.18, or 18/100ths, times our time, which is 1 year. Again, calculators out, put 5,000 times 18/100ths times 1. The interest rate on $5,000 at 18% for 1 year is $900. Try the next one on your own. Same credit card information, so your principal is still the 5,000. Now I want you to find it for a rate of 20%. Pause the recording, do the problem, start it back up when you are ready, and I will do it for you. Interest is our principal, which is 5,000, times our rate, which is, moving our decimal point over, 20 hundredths, times our time, which is still 1 for our annual percentage rate. So our interest on $5,000 at 20% is $1,000. We can also do it for a couple of years. Same equation. We're going to find interest. You put $500 in a savings account. The account earns 3% simple interest per year. What is the interest earned after 3 years? What is the balance after 3 years? So let's find the interest first. Our principal is the $500 that we put into our savings account. Our rate is the 3%. So again, move our decimal point back to get 3/100ths. Now our time is for 3 years. So we're going to multiply it by 3. 500 times 3/100ths times 3. Our interest rate for 3 years, or our interest for 3 years rather, is $45. That's our answer to letter A. What is the interest? The balance, however, includes both the principal, so the $500, plus our interest. So we add them together, and our balance is $545. And there's our answer for letter B. We're also going to be figuring compound interest. So take your yellow pages out again. Compound interest is interest earned on the principal and on the previously earned interest. Again, if you need time to copy this down, pause the recording. Otherwise, we're going to start with our first one. Using the formula I equals PRT, we deposit $400 into an account that earns 3.5% interest compounded annually. What is the account balance after 2 years? We basically have to figure simple interest 2 times. Our principal is $400, so we multiply 400 times our rate, which is 3.5%. So here it is as a percent. We move our decimal back 2 places. So we have 0.035 or 35 thousandths times 1 year. When you multiply that all out, you get $14. So the interest for the first year is $14. We have to add that to our principal in order to get our new balance. So after 1 year, we now have $414 in our account. For the second year, that is our new principal. Interest equals the principal times the rate times the time. Our new principal is $414. Our original principal plus our interest is our new principal. Same rate, 35 thousandths. Same time, 1 more year. We multiply this all out. We get $14.49. So our interest for the second year was $14.49. Our balance after 2 years then, if we add that onto the $414 that was in our account, we get a total of $428.49. Pause this and try compound interest on your own, and then come back and we will do it together. We're going to be solving this equation 2 times again, since we're finding our compound interest for 2 years. Total amount of money in account where $350 is invested at an interest rate of 7% compounded annually for 2 years. So interest equals the principal times the rate times the time. $350 is our principal times our rate of 7%, moving it back to make it a decimal, 7/100, times 1 for our first year. We multiply that out, we get $24.50. We're going to add that to our original principal. So our new principal is $374.50. So we do the problem again. Interest equals the principal times the rate times the time. Our principal is now the $374.50 times our 7/100 times our 1 year of the second year. We multiply that out and we get a answer on our calculator as 26 and 215 thousandths. We are dealing with money, so we're going to take this 5 and use it to round the 1. So our interest is going to be $26.22. Add that onto our $374.50 that was in our account, and our new balance, so our final answer, is $400.72. Here are 2 problems that I would like you to work on and bring to class tomorrow. Good luck!